I like doing fun, crazy things and proving people wrong and building a career and a legacy that could never be matched or copied. Pain is temporary, legacy is forever.
I saw that X-ray. Yeah. X-ray's forever too.
I enjoy it. I'm a fighter at heart. I'm a competitor at heart. I'm an athlete. I think I would be pissed off at myself if when I was 40, I looked back and was like, damn, I could have kept on fighting. Words are cheap and the actions are actually more powerful. And so I'm a doer and a talker at the same time, but I always back it up. People are too scared to fail and like go try and talk their shit and have that confidence and be like, I'm gonna create the biggest company in the world. I'm gonna go and do this. I'm gonna play here.
He created a company called W, which stands for winning. But what's in that logo?
I have a hidden L in the logo because I just turned all my losses into W's.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me cap pinning it. I fought the here to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On the mission, get me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Trust, limitless, niggas to me cap pinning it. I fought the here to witness it. Get my people feeling militant.
Well, fellas, again, we shooting in New York. It's a good reason this time. Sitting with the co-founders of Most Valuable Promotions, Nakisa Bidarian, Jake Paul. Man, what you guys have created is absolutely phenomenal. This is Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. I'm Ryan Clark. Just a little background, Nakisa, on you, though. This isn't where your life always was, right? Your mother and your siblings, you guys have to move during the war. You lose a brother. Talk a little bit about how some of those things inspired you to work this way.
Yeah, we were in a very privileged situation when we lived in Iran, who's currently, obviously, in war with the US. And we fled the country because of the impending war between Iran and Iraq, where in the 80s they were sending boys as young as 12, 13, 14 years old into battle to walk over mines, to clear the way for the soldiers. So we decided to move to America for my brother's sake. And we had a great but tough life. Unfortunately, he lost his life in America. And that was really a wake-up call for me. And it's pretty serendipitous for me to be here today in Quad Studios, where Tupac Shakur was shot in 1994, because the last time I saw my brother, he gave me my first Tupac CD. So thrilled to be here, turn that into focus and hard work to try to return my mom to the life that she used to have. And spent many years as a consultant on Wall Street, as an investor, and then in 2011 moved to Las Vegas at the UFC.
And on the other side of that, everybody knows Jake Paul. But who is Jake Paul? The last time we saw each other, Jake, I think it was fresh off the pandemic.
Yeah.
And this guy next to you called you a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But you're so much more than that we've seen. But who is Jake Paul, if you can tell us that?
Yeah, I'm a kid from Cleveland, born and raised, and just like come from a normal like blue collar family, and really just love sports, love hanging out with my friends and family. I like food a lot, Thanksgiving. I feel like I'm a lot like my grandpa. Shout out to Grandpa Spike, but I just like cars and things like that, driving fast. And what some of my fondest memories growing up were just being at my dad's cabin, just being outdoors in nature, chasing cows around, riding ATVs. But deep within me, in my soul, and just like who I am, is a builder and a creative. Mm-hmm. And me and my brother started making videos at a very young age just because we loved doing it. And YouTube had just come out at that point. We were pretty bored in Ohio. Like, my dad would lock us out of the house when he would have to go work on a job, and we just like didn't have anything to do, so we just decided to entertain ourselves. And that's really where the creative background came in, just being outside, filming and making videos and posting them. But I think there was always been this entrepreneurial spirit as a part of who I was.
And the entrepreneurial spirit, I get it now. Now the creators and the streamers and all are making millions. So I understand it now. I didn't understand it 5 years ago. But why do you continue to push? Like, now you're trying to fight. We just saw Anthony Joshua break your goddamn jaw. Like what? Like
I mean,
why?
hey, Chan, you don't try to fight and get your job, bro. You got to actually get in the fight.
Well, I was sorry. You didn't try to fight. You did fight.
Yeah.
But we're watching you. Like, what is the push? Why do you keep going further and further? And I saw you recently say you're going to play in the NFL. Like, how about you enjoy your millions and chill, bro?
That's not what it's about, you know? Like, I like doing fun, crazy things and proving people wrong and building a career and a legacy that could never be matched or copied and something unique in its own right, and then bringing up people with me. I mean, that's what we've done with MVP. And since the start, it was like, all right, clearly I can change boxing as like a fighter, but I can be more impactful outside of the ring and help other fighters who were underpaid and not having the spotlight that they deserved. And the business of boxing was very weird, shady, corrupt. And so we came in and just like really professionalized it. But I do chill on my ranch. I got 6,000 acres. I do have a lot of but yeah, it's like I do enjoy this life, but I enjoy working. I enjoy creating and bringing things to life. And
He's only 29. I mean, he's got a long way to go. If you think about what he's accomplished by this age, not just as a creator, but as a boxer, as a promoter, it's unheard of. But that drive is like insane. He was texting me last night about now we turned this into a $5 billion company. So I'm excited that he still has that desire to build and disrupt and become leaders in everything that he does.
That's what I want to ask about, though, the disruption. Right, you guys at MVP were the first to ever get a female fighter a 7-figure payday in Amanda Serrano, and now you guys move in to mixed martial arts. I mean, Francis Ngannou is on the card, Ronda Rousey, Mike Perry, Nate Diaz. Like, I'm a huge mixed martial arts fan. As you've continued to build and add extra pieces, what was the start of the vision and saying to yourself, okay, this is what we eventually want to be, and how did you guys put some of those goals and check marks in place?
First time I met Jake was October of 2019. I didn't know who he was, shame on me. But he said, hey, I want to be a fighter, I want to be a rapper, I want to be an actor, I want to be an investor, and I'm a YouTuber. And most importantly, I want to start a fighters union because fighters don't get paid enough. And I think they're the creators, because he was a creator. They should be getting paid more. And that was really the start of it. And I quickly came to realize that if Jake was serious about boxing, which he was, not only could we make him one of the biggest stars of all time in the sport, he's been in the sport for 5 years. 3 of the past 5 years, he's been the top 50 paid athletes of all time. But really using the attention that he brings, right? The eyeballs that focus on him to build a platform, to provide push for other fighters, and then do deals that disrupt the entire landscape. If you think about Amanda Serrano that we mentioned earlier, the first time 2 women ever headlined Madison Square Garden was Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, MVP, put that event on in 2022 and gave it the first 7-figure payday in women's boxing. We've obviously quadrupled down in women's boxing. We have the largest stable of women in the world, and we're partners with ESPN in the US, Sky in the UK, and now it's turned into the focus of what can we do in MMA. Right. And that first event set records. We have the highest viewership in the history of the United States of America for an MMA event. And that's pretty amazing when you think they had an event at the White House with the most famous man in the world and President Trump pushing that event. When Conor McGregor came back a few weeks ago after 5 years, for us to achieve that, it was clear that MMA was the next leg of our strategy.
Well, and speaking of that, you know, you've been in the building at the UFC. You understand what that vehicle is, what that monster has become. Tell us a little bit about this merger now that's been announced with PFL, and you know, we'll talk to their CEO here soon as well. What was the vision in that? Because if you look at some of the fighters that they have on the card now, even in the fight that we'll be seeing soon in Nurmagomedov, and you have Kogan, you have Dakota, who's undefeated as well. There's a stable of fighters there that are ready to become stars, and you guys seem like the star makers.
Yeah, I think, look, it all goes back to what Jake and I always say. We're a fighter-first organization. UFC was the great learning ground for me, both good and bad. And there's no doubt that they're the best promotional entity in the world in terms of being a large organization that has capabilities that others don't. But what we've done in 5 years, no sports entity in history has. And we've done it without losing a single dollar. We've broken record after record. And there's no better person in the world than Jake Paul to bring attention and engagement to a product. So PFL has amazing athletes. John Martin, who is our new CEO, sent me an article not too long ago that says PFL is on an incredible run, but more people need to watch and know about it. And that's what we're going to do together.
I want to ask, how did you change the structure? How did y'all change the structure for fighters? Because you keep saying it's way different. You're empowering fighters. How did you change
Number
the
one
structure?
is revenue share, right? The vast majority of the revenue, always 50% plus, should go to the fighters. That doesn't exist at UFC. They always say, oh, fighter compensation has gone up, but it hasn't kept up with the entity's compensation. As you guys know, in most ball and stick sports, the rev share is 50%, close to. That's nowhere near the case with UFC and TKO. They have some of the biggest margins in the world, and that's driven by athletes. And that's what he said to me in 2019 is these athletes need to get a bigger part of the pie.
Yeah, no, I mean, the UFC is paying roughly like 10% of their earnings when it should be closer to 50%. That's why you see all of them wanting to go and box and cross over into the sport of boxing where the money has been bigger. And that's this merger has combined a boxing entity and an MMA entity, and now fighters can do both. We can have them do a big boxing event, or they can go and do MMA, like I'm going to do in the near future as well. So I think that's never been done before, and really that's what fighters want. They want the flexibility to be able to do what they want and to make the money that they deserve. They also want the viewership. They want the credentials out there in the world. They want to be famous and known for their craft. And there hasn't been a place where MMA fighters can go and get the same amount of viewership as the UFC, if not more. Yeah. And so that, I think, was the missing piece, even beyond the money. And now, even with other leagues and fight organizations, I think we'll see fighters, that will hopefully fight out of their contracts to be able to come into our organization and get the pay and the freedom and flexibility that they deserve.
Jake, is it all about, for you, because you are a creator, because you are a fighter, how have you continued as also a co-founder and owner to keep that fighter first mentality? Because the margins would go to you two, right, as the founders and the owners, if you wouldn't give the fighters so much. What has made you so steadfast in staying that way?
Yeah, it's a great question, and this is what we've always said is Nakisa is a wealthy man before we started this company. I am a wealthy man before starting this company, and we didn't need the money. We still don't need the money. And so every other person and promoter in the business, their families are fed by the revenue that they get from being a promoter, whereas to us it's just like slightly incremental, but we put everything back into the business. But everyone else is doing it to get rich. We got rich before we started this company, and that's really
no
the
doubt
difference.
We want to create enterprise value and create additional equity value for ourselves. But the belief has always been the most valuable entities on the world are the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the EPL. And the vast majority of the revenues, or close to 50%, goes to the athletes. So it only inures benefit to your asset to have athletes who fully believe in, are happy, and feel like partners. So when we talk about Jake being a fighter, of course he's going to get paid extremely well, and he's a partner in the firm. And any athlete that comes to MVP knows that we're going to give them that opportunity, right? It's about pivot, which is a P, but it's about platform, push, which results in pay. We have the platform. We provide the push. You put on amazing performances, the pay is there.
Well, I mean, from an athletic standpoint, Jake was on the list right there with Erling Haaland. And I saw, just a slight tweet, just like you just put it out there. You didn't say much about it, but just showing that as an athlete, this is what he was able to produce.
Yeah. And also as former athletes, I can speak for the both of them. We commend you guys for, trying to take care of the product, which is the athlete. And it sounds great, but companies have investors to answer to, right? And as business gets tougher, Like, how do you guys continue to maintain that philosophy while also having to maintain business?
I mean, I look at the WNBA. Those investors, those owners have been investing for close to now over 30 years. And they've lost money for a very long time. But those asset values have continued to go up. And now they're at a point where their asset values and their profits are going to go up, right? Because the league has this influx of superstars and the world is paying attention. So our belief is the same. We're not losing money. We've never lost a dollar at MVP, but we've never made a lot of money. It's been an exercise of building a brand, building these fighters, building conviction in women's boxing, building conviction in our capabilities. So I have no doubt that we can maintain it and create a lot of equity value.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say like Uber, one of the biggest companies, just became profitable a couple of years ago after so many years in business, but the enterprise value is still so big. And so, yeah, just pushing and being smart. We have one of the best guys in the world that has our back on that side of things. But just believing in the growth and the continuation of the fighters and being able to put on big events and have big rights deals with these, platforms like ESPN, Sky Sports, and Netflix.
As disruptors, you're disrupting something that's been going on for a long time. The 10% to the 50% and all. Any pushback, any hate from what has been happening for so long, and now y'all are coming in and changing things?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of pushback, there's lots of hate, there's lots of resistance, there's lots of behind the scenes moves that get made to try to hold us back or hold us down consistently. There's a lot of negativity that goes with it, name calling, etc. But it's all for the good. If they're paying attention to what we're doing, that's a great thing. We did the first ever press conference with Jake, Mike Tyson, and Ryan at Fanatics 2 years ago. Guess what? Every year since then, UFC's been there doing their press conferences. So we continue to disrupt, lead the way. Others take what we've done and run with it. But we think it's worth the effort, worth the hate that we get for it.
And also, too, with, I guess, some of the pushback, for you, having been a part of UFC, understanding the boxing world, understanding the combat sports world, what is your end game, right? What's the final goal of this business?
I hope it's a forever business. I do not have a tattoo. Have never had one, but tomorrow Jake and I will be getting a most valuable tattoo together for this company, because I look at this as being something that lives long beyond myself and Jake Paul and becomes a true platform for fighters in mixed martial arts and boxing and other sports. When Jake came up with the name Most Valuable Promotions, it was his idea. It was to not make it boxing centric. It was with the idea that we could promote any athlete in any event and make it the biggest and most valuable that existed.
See, I love that, though, because that takes me outside of actual combat sports.
Exactly.
Right? If you're taking any athlete in any sport and giving them an opportunity to have the viewership, the ownership, and the ability to earn, I think that makes this a totally different entity than we've ever seen from two co-founders, two partners. And with you, Jake, a simple question. Why, if you make all this money, do you just keep doing things and trying to pick things that's gonna get you hurt?
Like what? Like combat sports?
Yeah.
He said talking about going to the NFL.
Yeah, you just said, you went, right, you boxed, right?
He's still boxing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
pain is temporary, legacy is forever. So like,
Let's go.
I saw that X-ray.
yeah,
X-rays forever
that
too.
shit, that shit's temporary though. Like, on God, honestly, it didn't even the punch didn't even hurt.
I don't believe that, Jake.
I swear on everything, brother. Like it didn't hurt at all.
I mean, he said, "Whoa," right?
I
Other
was
man
just
took
like,
it to
whoa,
second.
that was like a good hit. But there's been things in life that hurt a lot worse. Like when you stub your toe, bro, that shit hurts way more than getting hit by Anthony Joshua, honestly. And I enjoy it. I'm a fighter at heart. I'm a competitor at heart. I'm an athlete at heart. And so I think I would be pissed off at myself if when I was 40, I looked back and was like, damn, I could have kept on fighting. That was like the most fun I've ever had. the hardest I've had to push myself physically and mentally, and not just being a businessman. And so while I'm still in my athletic prime, there's still a lot of things I want to accomplish. And I've only set 2 goals for myself in life so far, or 3 goals. One is to become the biggest YouTuber in the world. And I did that, checked that off, then stopped doing YouTube, set the next goal, and that was to become world champion. And so that's the next one on the list. And I just have to do it for myself.
But you're sitting with 3 football players, right? And we like to fancy that sport as a skill that you must attain. And there's a level of foundational athleticism that goes into being able to do it, right? To be 29 years old, to have not stepped on a professional football field, and I'll use the word audacity, right? To have the audacity to say it out loud that that's what you're going to do. What makes you so confident that you can do what we were able to do for a living?
Yeah, I think just God, believing in myself, and, manifestation and self-belief are some of the most powerful things in the world. And I have God-given talents and athleticism. And when I said I was going to box and beat all of these people and beat Ben Asker and Nate Robinson, Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, it was the same response that I'm getting now when I say I'm going to go
Because you didn't have the background.
play slot receiver, because there was no background. I was YouTuber this, YouTuber that. But I bench more than all of you, guaranteed. And that's just like right now. And I don't even practice bench pressing. I'll squat more than all of you. I'm faster than all of you. Like, actually.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is true. We can go down in the street after this. But that's the thing. So, like, when words are cheap, and the actions are actually more powerful. And so I'm a doer and a talker at the same time, but I always back it up. Yeah. And so to me, slot receiver, I have hands, run some routes, catch some balls, block some people. It can't be that hard. Boxing is way more difficult than football.
That is
and
also
I'm only
not true.
It's 100% true.
Again,
study was released
not
like
even-
a month ago. The hardest sport in the world is boxing.
They
Number
took
11
90,
was MMA.
They took 90, professional analysts of sports and did a study on what the hardest sports in the world are, and the number one on there is boxing. And I'm in there by myself. You guys have 10 other players on the field to help you out. And so the mentality is different, the pressure is different, the focus is different, and the training is harder. It's a marathon and a sprint. You guys get a minute in between each play to regroup.
This
you
is
fucking
like the
kidding?
This is
you guys
like,
get
this
like
is what I'm
you
saying.
can
This is
bring out
like
some.
This
you
is
guys
like the
can bring
Bud
out
conversation, right? We had
Boxing
this
is number
conversation
1.
with Bud.
Ice hockey is number 2. Football is number 3.
No, the hardest thing in sports is to hit a baseball going 100 miles per hour.
I agree with that totally.
That's the hardest thing to ever do in a sport.
That's a hard action within a sport, but the overall sport difficulty.
So I would say this: the individuality of boxing, and even mixed martial arts, makes it difficult, right? If you get hurt in the ring or in the octagon or in the cage, you don't get to come out, right? If Channing gets hurt, another linebacker gets to play. Bud, we've had that conversation. Yeah. Jake, when Bud sits there and tells me that, then I'm like, yeah, but you're Bud Crawford. I get it. But to just be like, I'm gonna run a couple of routes, I'm gonna block some people, I'm gonna catch the ball, how hard can it be?
But we talking about...
Yeah, wait, but is it harder than that? Like, what's the difference? Like, it's just a speed thing.
Jake, we talking about Jamar Chase and Jetta and those type guys. We're talking about the best receivers in the world that you're trying to compete with.
That's an outside receiver, like not a slot receiver, completely different.
They play it all.
Like
you sat around and watched Wes Welker play, and you like, oh shoot, I could go do that.
Yeah, 100%. No, definitely. He's the
Wes
perfect
was
example.
cold.
I cannot do Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those are different level athletes than me. I'm talking about the white guy, Wes Welker, who is this big. What's he gonna do? Bro,
you underestimate
What do you
him.
mean, bro?
Edelman.
man was
you
all
got
pro.
Edelman. That's
Yeah,
the white
what-
guy.
bro,
That's the next
bro.
Wes Welker.
100, bro. Wes Welker is even like 10 times better than Julian.
And you can do that at that level.
Yeah, 100%. Julian
Julian
Edelman.
Edelman's an absolute monster.
Yeah, but I'm saying Wes Welker's better.
I can't let you say that
But bro,
about Jules.
like who's the other kid? Juju
he's-
Smith. Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a slot receiver.
He's played the slot receiver, but Juju Smith-Schuster was a 1,500-yard receiver in the league in Pittsburgh. You can't go do that. Now, if you're just saying I could just get on the field somewhere in the NFL, maybe, but I think you're truly discounting how talented these people are at doing that one thing. Now,
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that it's not as hard as people are making it out to be.
That's why you are where you are. Just
Yeah.
that mindset.
No, 100%.
You don't let nobody tell you can't do anything.
he has unshakable belief in
Yeah,
himself.
and
It's
that's
delusional
why
confidence, we call
this
it.
merger and your companies and
seriously.
everything you touch is going to succeed
by the
just
way,
because
here's
of that
the thing.
mindset.
Here's the
Fired
thing.
about this.
I'm ready to go in there, and if I'm proven wrong, then so be it. But people are
that.
too scared to fail and like go try and talk their shit and have that confidence to be like, I'm gonna create the biggest company in the world. I'm gonna go and do this. I'm gonna play here. I'm gonna do all of these great things. They're scared to fail and to talk that shit and to big up themselves. If I go in there and I'm a bum, guess what? Who cares? Now what? What are we gonna do?
You created a company called W, which stands for winning. But what's in that logo?
Yeah, I have a hidden L in the logo because I just turned all my losses into W's. So that's really what it's about. And there is a side of it where it's like I am purposely a little egging you guys on, get you a little hyped up. So
Well, honestly,
there's a little bit in there, you know.
yeah, you guys won this week for sure. The merger with the PFL CEO, John Martin, is here, and I definitely want to get some of his thoughts on where this can take the company.
I have no aspiration to be in the NFL.
Well, John, I'm actually happy to have you here. I mean, I got to meet you recently in Pittsburgh. An exciting event was thrown there by the PFL just to be a part of it. So I appreciate the hospitality. First
We
off,
appreciated your involvement.
yeah, and you guys, taking care of me in the way you did. Brett Kiesel loved it.
Amazing.
He absolutely loved it. And so my question for you would be, I think it was 2008, you had conversations with the UFC.
It was the first time, yeah.
2008, right? 2016, you have another conversation.
When he was there,
Right.
when Nakisa was there.
Actually, you have another conversation. How much of those different conversations and understanding what the next piece to mixed martial arts could be went into the decision to partner with MVP?
A big part of it, so my background coming from media and entertainment is I've always been leading companies that were big and had a lot of scale, and I benefited from that. And we took and we grew those companies even more. When I started to follow the UFC as a fan, and then ultimately I got involved in martial arts myself, I immediately saw honestly the global possibilities of growing mixed martial arts as a combat sport. I was always a boxing fan as a kid. Some of my fondest memories were watching Muhammad Ali fight, and then Hearns and Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard, I mean, up through De La Hoya, Mayweather, and following it. But then MMA was something different, right? Because the only thing where the fight never ends. You go to the ground, there's no rescue, right? I tried to convince my company, Time Warner, twice to acquire the UFC. First was in 2008 when Dana wanted to partner with HBO, who was big in boxing. And then the second time, again, my second unsuccessful attempt was I thought Time Warner should acquire UFC in 2016. Unfortunately, the company got sold shortly thereafter.
You were right, though.
I was right in both of those.
Yep.
I mean, the UFC was worth, Nakisa, $4 billion in
we sold it for
16,
$4,
and I
yeah.
told my board at Time Warner, I said, this is going to be worth 4 to 5 times that amount in 7 years, and pretty much right on. So I never lost the passion. I was frustrated that I never got involved with the UFC. When I had the opportunity to get involved in PFL, I jumped on it because I thought the fighters that we have at the PFL, they're better than most fans recognize. So if we could shine a spotlight on that, and we can improve the production, and we can elevate the brand, we got a real shot because no way is the UFC going to be a monopoly in MMA. And we're started, and I've been there a little less than a year, and things have been turning around, and there's a lot of positive signs and momentum. But why try to grind it out and grow organically bit by bit? I've been watching what Jake and Nakisa have been doing at MVP with a little jealousy, but a lot of attention.
Right.
And then I had even, Nakisa reached out to me first, but he was on my mind. I was going to wait until their May 16th event. I was actually, and I mean it, I was hoping it was going to succeed because I saw it as being good for the sport. Got a lot of casual fans watching it that ordinarily wouldn't. And I said, this gentleman has an ability to capture casual fans, bring them into the sport like nobody I've ever seen. That's a unique opportunity for a company like ours. So first conversation with Nakisa, we didn't have one disagreement on strategy, fit, what makes sense, our ambition, what we're trying to do. And I couldn't be more excited. I think this is going to be great. As they've all said, I mean, it's going to be great for the fans, it's going to be great for the fighters. And there's a big competition for UFC and boxing right now.
After doing the MMA event, it was obviously difficult to sort of get the matches the way you want it, right? MMA is all about matchmaking, right? It's the one combat sport, in my opinion, or the top combat sport, and you can have an entire card of exciting fights, and people may not know the names of the guys or the females on the undercard. But you do that, and the fights are uneven, right? Obviously, Francis gets the knockout, Ronda gets the submission, Mike Perry beats Diaz. So all those things happen. How much of...
But Ryan, when you say they're uneven, they had an event at the White House shortly thereafter.
Yep.
Almost every fight was like a quick finish.
It was a complete card of finishes.
Nobody said those were uneven matches, right? So, everyone, these were great. These were fair matchups. So part of it was people just wanted to downplay what we did. It was very possible Ronda Rousey was going to finish Gina Carano the way that she did, because that's what she did her entire career until she got stopped. But it was also very possible that Gina Carano could have put a roundhouse kick onto Ronda's head like Holly Holm did and gone a different way. So yes, did we have Francis Ngannou fighting the number 2 guy in the world at this moment? No. But the matchmaking was not that different than many cards that you see. But sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, you say whatever. Like, this is your space. But my question was going to be, how excited are you understanding the type of fighters that are in the PFL already, and the elite level fighters you can now shine a spotlight on that may not have been getting that allows some of those great fights, great names, great matches for you guys?
I mean, look, this is the cheat code to becoming the reference brand for the sport. Jake and I have built what we've done at MVP on the women's side, right? And we're the reference brand there. Now we have a roster of almost 400 top level athletes, some of the best in the world, that become a part of this platform. And that infrastructure, that global distribution, led by who I believe is the best CEO in combat sports, the most experienced, the most accomplished, the man who understands media better than anyone else around the table, the possibilities are endless.
What's the biggest challenge, John, for people who aren't inside the room? Like, it comes with some level of risk, I'm sure. So for the people that aren't in the room, that can't really see what that might be, what would you consider the biggest challenge?
There are risks for sure. I think this merger dramatically reduces the risk on the PFL side, and I think it reduces the risk on the MVP side. Mm-hmm. And that together, I can't wait to now that the deal is signed, we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about events. Mm-hmm. What can we do? Boxing, MMA, crossover events, giving fighters more and more opportunity. We've got to get and secure a strong distribution partner in the US. That was what I was busy doing at the PFL, and I look forward to doing that now with this announcement behind us. I think we're going to have a compelling product to offer fans. And I really think the biggest risk is we just have to execute. We've got to put our head down. I mean, getting to this point is exciting. Now the hard work starts. Mm-hmm. You know, whenever I'm in a business or I'm in a negotiation, I like to have as many cards in my hand as possible because you like to be able to have flexibility to which one you want to play. We have more cards in our deck right now than we've ever had before. And that's really exciting.
It all comes down to one thing: eyeballs, attention, engagement, right? It's a battle to get people to focus for a period of time. Mm-hmm. There's no better person in the world to bring eyeballs and attention to what we're doing. That's why we've had the success at MVP, and that's why with MVP and PFL, we're going to continue to garner that attention and those eyeballs to bring exposure to our athletes, to then necessitate the right deals with media partners. That's what's exciting about this. But at the end of the day, the risk is not getting the eyeballs, not getting the attention. But we feel pretty good about that.
Two very smart, obviously rich people.
And the richest person here.
And he's a rich dude, but this is the engine,
100%.
correct?
That was really exciting for us to be able to partner with somebody. There is no other Jake. Maybe your brother is the closest thing to it.
But is that scary?
Scary? Why? It's
This
exciting.
is like it's what's it called? There's insurance called like frontman insurance on companies.
Key man.
This is the key man of y'all's millions.
I
He's
will
sitting
say,
here right next to
I
you.
will say this platform gives him more assets to push, but also diversifies the platform from just him pushing, right? We have over 400 fighters now on the roster who get the benefit of John Martin as the CEO, who get the benefit of our partnerships with Netflix and ESPN and Sky and 43 other partners globally. And yes, he is front and center as a fighter. He is front and center as a promoter, biggest promoter, bigger than Dana, bigger than Eddie, bigger than any promoter that exists in terms of reach. But it's also a benefit to him because now it's not just him. There is an entire roster of athletes. There is an entire platform. And there is deep-pocketed investors behind us that are going to help us build and push.
And Jake, I wanted to put more pressure on you now when you see
No, I
what's
think it's
going
the
on.
opposite. Like Nakisa said, now I have more infrastructure, more of a team, more capital behind me, and more fighters that can be potential superstars to put a lot of that energy into, where they become a brand in and of itself. And we've done that multiple times in MVP, but now there's just going to be more events, more fights, and more opportunities for these fighters to make a name for themselves, and everyone grows together. Every fighter that we push, every event that we do, the whole organization just slowly continues to grow, and it's a self-sustaining ecosystem, whereas before a lot of it was just on my shoulders. And I think people like Elon Musk inspire me, because you could say the same thing about, like, well, SpaceX isn't going to work. Elon, boring company. Tesla, it's all Elon, it's all Elon, it's all Elon. But they figure it out. And that's what motivates me. And that's why I have chips on my shoulders to prove and to make these companies become super successful, everything that I'm involved in. Because a lot of people look at me and say, oh, you can't do that. Like, how is he going to do that? That's crazy. And time again, I continue to prove myself and see the future before others can't, right? Like, you were 5 years ago being like, YouTuber, this, that. And now you're like, I understand it now. And it's cute. It's cute. I like have to sometimes like lower my threshold to like a level of human that doesn't understand what it is that I'm doing and creating, and I'm patient for them to catch up when 10 years down the line they're like, holy cow, how did that happen? That's really what we're going to continue to prove here and to do, and to make all of this become a massive success.
I want to speak to delusional confidence again. I read something from John, and the quote was, the PFL is not that other organization. Right? When you make a merger like this, the immediate thought is, this is to compete with the UFC. How do you find a way to not be seen as the other organization, or even more so, the number two organization? Because the UFC is king. They are destination viewing. They are people's habits. How do you find a way to combat that?
Yeah, I would say, like, just naturally, it's already happened in such a short amount of time. And just with the matchmaking that we've done, the partnerships, the events that we've thrown, people already put us on the same level. It's like, what was better, the UFC White House card or the Netflix Ronda Rousey card? And they're automatically comparing us. And so it naturally becomes this Pepsi and Coke situation. It becomes Nike and Adidas already, and we're 5 years in. And so really it's all benefit to us. They're way up here, been doing it for 30 something years. We're just starting, and every conversation that people have about us, it pulls us up closer to that. You know, they're probably a $20 billion organization now. And so for us, yeah, let's be seen as number 2 and compare us all you want and talk about us and put us on the same level, because we're punching up, and it just brings us up and closer to them. But they're definitely the kingmaker and the biggest in terms of like money. But what we'll be number 1 at always is how we treat fighters. I think that alone will propel us so far into the future and to really make us the differentiator, and why you'll see all the talent come to us in the end.
And I think if you look at soccer, for example, there are successful leagues in many countries around the world, but there's consistent product. So UFC isn't the global MMA organization that has to feed every single consumer on every single night. And there's only so many weekends that you can do fights as that single organization. So I think the market is more than big enough to allow us to be successful. And I think, as Jake said, like, if we're the clear number 2 and it's a 1-2 race, that's a great place to be, actually, right? I do not mind being Pepsi if they are Coke. We'll be okay as Pepsi.
Yeah, I like the whole entire idea of taking care of your employees. I think that goes a long ways, which brings me to this. We got this thing we do on the show where we cut the room in half. And for the first time in Pivot history, RC, you know I love you, Disney fired 2 people on this set.
Hey, that's
man.
what's up, bro. Hey, tap me up, bro.
Connected
That's what's up, bro. Hell yeah.
It's true. Disclaimer, both PFL and MVP are partners with ESPN.
Yeah. No offense to the ESPN. Still a great company. 2 great people. But almost your 10-year anniversary of being Dirk Man and being fired as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going back to the conversation. He's talking about that delusional mindset, and then you was talking about failure, not letting it, keep you trapped or hold you down. Would you consider that move your most valuable pivot? Because we always ask our guests what's their biggest pivot in life. Would that be your most valuable pivot?
I would say the most valuable was like going from YouTube to boxing. But yeah, like the whole Disney thing just wasn't fitting well. Like, they needed me to be there 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And my YouTube vlogs were just taking off like crazy, getting 10, 15 million views per day. And so I was way more focused on that than, sitting around a set and being waiting for 3-4 hours to say a couple of lines. And so there was this natural growing apart. My videos were becoming more, PG-13 rated R-ish. And so they were this clean brand. And that's like naturally where the separation, I was like, I'm going to focus on this. And so, yeah, it was just what was coming, and they were like, you need to stop swearing, you need to stop doing this, you can't say this in your videos. And I was just like, I can't do that. And so really it just, it was a blessing and a great accomplishment, and I loved working there, and all the people were great, and everything was, top notch. And it was a great experience, but naturally me and Disney just grew apart.
Yeah. And I think RC also mentioned that we shed enough tears last week and went through the whole ordeal. And knowing this guy and his next pivot and what's next to come, just check out for it. But
We'll be
I'm
good.
just
What it ain't
glad.
gonna be is fighting for it.
Huh?
What it ain't gonna be, I ain't gonna be calling
How we
Nakisa
know
like,
it's
hey
not
man,
gonna
let me
be
get.
fighting?
Hey, that's what's not gonna happen.
You never know. You've been working out like crazy.
Hey,
so
But
we
if you
might
are
get a little
down,
something.
we could negotiate a deal.
To make your boxing or MMA debut.
Hey, tell you what, if
You
get-
versus Pat McAfee.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. Pass my guy. But I got a couple I can put on the list. We'll have a conversation about that. I do want to ask you this question, though, John. Like, your innovation in a very short time has been fascinating, right? Everyone who is connected to mixed martial arts understands the way the PFL used to crown a champion. That was a quick change for you. and now you're partnering with MVP. That's another immediate, quick change after taking over as the CEO. Do you ever walk in the room and say, guys, here's my thought? And they'd be like, man, you out your mother effing mind. Right? Like, what does your team say with all of these, not only big ideas, but big decisions that you made, none bigger than partnering with Nakisa and Jake?
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate. We've got a number of really talented people on our team. And yeah, I might come in with the ideas, but I like to hear everybody's opinion. And then I'm happy to make the decision and be held accountable for it. But look, I knew coming in, PFL had a big opportunity, but if we continued to just stay the course that I was on, it wasn't going to work. So if you really believe that, then you change it as quick as you can. Because every day you're stuck in that, you're just falling further and further behind. And I knew that that was the necessary first step. You know, get rid of a tournament format that didn't work, start to appeal to more and more fans, establish, you know, the tried and true method of weight classes with rankings and champions. And all of a sudden, matchmaking became important. And the fan base started talking about, by the way, good, bad, and different. Why is this person fighting this person? Who's better? Who's better? But we started to become more and more part of the conversation. And my goal from the first day I walked in is I want to be big, I want to scale, because combat sports is one of the few sports in the world that is global. There's no borders. It's instantly recognizable. It's simple. You don't need a lot of equipment. Any kid could join and become a martial artist or a combat sports enthusiast. That's a unique opportunity. And so no time like the present. And I like to seize the opportunities in front of me. And I'm thrilled that these two gentlemen thought and saw the same thing.
I love that.
You were talking about the timelessness of MVP and FPL. What's your end game? What's your finish line? You have a number involved? You do so much, bro. Like you said, you made fun of me because I didn't believe in you 5 years ago. Now I see the future. Like, but what? So now you've been running for 5 years, and even Neanderthals like me can see. Bro, you have to have a finish line. If you got a finish line, what the hell are you running for?
No, I think it's becoming like a protector of fighters and getting them what they deserved and the spotlight that they deserve. I think the biggest accomplishment in my life, or one of them, is what being involved in Amanda Serrano's career and taking her from where she was at.
12 years in the sport, 7-division champion, no recognition.
And I said to her, I was like, I'm gonna make you a millionaire, and you're gonna be on billboards. And I said, you're gonna be in a movie one day. And she literally like laughed at me because she like couldn't fathom that. And that's like exactly what's happened in a shorter amount of time than we expected. And I want to be a protector of fighters. I think also creating a league where there's financial literacy taught. It's something that I want to bring into this organization, so you don't see fighters who, make this money and blow it. I think that's something that's not even
Fighters,
done
athletes,
in the UFC. There's no financial literacy, whereas in the NFL and NBA and some of these other leagues, the players are getting smarter about their money. And so really just being this overall protector of fighters and helping them make money, keep the money, and so you don't see Floyd situations happening, and giving them the biggest paydays and opportunities, to me, is what is the most exciting. So
what are you most proud of? Are you more proud of the fact that you have gotten inside the ring with world champions and done battle, or are you more proud of the fact that you are a protector of fighters?
I'm way more proud of what I've done outside the ring, because there's been and will be 10,000 more fighters, in the future, but there's not anyone in the promotional game who's been able to do what we've done, and in such a short amount of time, and at my age, and also being someone in the ring. De La Hoya has done a great job, but he just missed that momentum and the time to turn it into something even bigger than what he's already created. And so,
And he did that post-career. Jake's doing it during his career.
Just way more proud of what I've done outside the ring.
Got you. So my last question for you would be this, John. You mentioned that Nakisa reached out and you were like, I was waiting for that May 16th event. Tell me what that conversation was initially and what excited you about what he had to say.
I was on the Ariel Hawani podcast, and Ariel asked me if we would ever consider a rebrand at the PFL. And at the time, we were questioning ourselves whether that was the best brand and whether a fresh start would be better. I tell the truth when I'm being asked a question, so I said, we're thinking about it, and it caused immediate speculation. What's it going to be? You're going to bring back the Bellator name, or you're going to... And I came out of the show, and one of the first texts I saw was from Nakisa, where he said, there's a much bigger idea here. And so...
Well, he was very complimentary of us on the show, and I sent a text, and I said, I saw the show. Thank you for the compliments. See, you're thinking about a rebrand, maybe Bellator. I said, there's a bigger opportunity here. Call me if you're interested. And he called pretty quickly.
What was your first statement to him on that call?
Just that, what we've been able to achieve at MVP is phenomenal, but what we're lacking is what PFL has, which is the roster in terms of MMA, the roster, the infrastructure, the global distribution capabilities that they've invested in for the past 7 or 8 years, right? Tens of millions of dollars have been invested to build what they have in place. And I also said to John, I want to combine these two things, and I want you to be the CEO. I believe you're the right person to lead this organization, given your background at Time Warner, given your leadership at Turner. Combat Sports hasn't seen an executive like you. Jake and I will support, Jake and I will lead and drive different components, but you have to be in the chair.
Yeah, I want to give this last opportunity to you, John. What can viewers, what can fans of mixed martial arts expect from the PFL now as you go forward with this merger with MVP?
Much bigger spotlight on our elite fighters. And we have an event in Long Island. We've got Usman Nurmagomedov, Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin, 21-0. I think he is the best lightweight in the world, bar none. We've got Dakota Ditcheva as the co-main, 15-0. She's the most she's the most in-demand female fighter in the world. They deserve to be known by everybody in the world. And they're very popular in the MMA world, don't get me wrong, but to shine an even bigger spotlight, make them household names, make them stars, tell better stories about their lives, how they got to where they are, what drives them to continue to fight. One of the fascinating things for me, having come into the business now and gotten the opportunity to actually get to know our fighters, they are fascinating elite athletes. Everybody comes from a different walk of life. They have a different story, a different motivation, a different drive, but they're all doing the same thing. And I think telling those stories, it's always what made me get connected to combat sports. I was always athletic. I played soccer until I was 25 years old. But there's something...
And he's going to go to the NFL soon.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
If he said two, then I'm done.
He a slot receiver too. Everybody's a slot receiver.
Everybody.
He's playing quarterback, man. Quarterback.
Yeah, he's playing quarterback.
He Tyreek Hill now. Not with it.
Everybody's
Sorry to interrupt you.
No. It's just, what? I want people who like the MMA industry to turn around and go, now we get a lot of chatter about where do these PFL fighters, when are they going to make it to the UFC? That's bullshit. Our guys are as good as the UFC fighters, and they deserve that recognition.
I think that is the perfect statement to end it on. That is what it's always felt like, right? As you get as good as you can possibly get in another organization, and then you get scooped up by the UFC to truly become a star. With what you guys have done in such a short period of time, with your innovative, creative mindset and leadership, I think that's exactly where you can take it. I mean, you know me, I'll be cage-side to watch.
We expect that. Look forward to it.
Yeah, I know it'll be exciting. But, man, we appreciate your guys' time, man, and best of luck. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, Lord.
I got to ask, because I did it to KD as well. You have an athlete fiance, right?
Yeah.
She's a speed skater.
Yeah.
So you're an athlete, she's an athlete. You got to make babies.
Yeah.
When are you planning on making babies? You can't.
Soon.
You can't. You got to hold this DNA now. We got to let this DNA go.
No, 100%. That's what Trump said to me backstage after the rally. He was like, I need one of your babies. I'm taking the first baby. You guys have great genetics. So There's a line. There's a line.
So you know how to make a baby? Because I got 3. I can.
I
text
don't know
you.
how.
I can text you. Don't worry about it.
You
Hey,
can,
Chad,
can you show
when you
me?
got as much money as he got,
Yeah.
you ain't trying to make no babies before you get married. Hey, that child support would be steep.
2 rounds. You got to go 2 rounds. That makes babies.
That's how you do it?
Yeah. 2 rounds. You got 2 in you?
Yeah, let's.
Damn it, you gonna make a baby.
I'm gonna do it. No, thank you.
Now that's the
Off the football field.
My man, appreciate you. Man. That was excellent.
That was awesome, bro. Yes, sir. All love. Nice to meet you, man. Appreciate you. Yes, sir, man.
Good luck, man.
All love, bro. It's good to see you, baby.
Reading your story, man. That was
John, man.
Yes, sir, bro.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you guys. Great.
Thank you.
That was good. Thank you.
Yeah,
No, 100%.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.